Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, we're live. We're live. Are you ready?
All right, we are live.
We're live. Somebody has to mute something. There we go. There we go. We got this. We got this, boys.
Wait, I hear you echoing in my headphones.
Why do you hear me echoing? Do you still hear me echoing?
Probably because I have the volume of the actual stream on. That makes sense. Hello, everybody. User error. See, I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong, Matt. When I mess something up.
It's okay. I actually did the same thing. When we started, I was like, why do I hear you and I talking to me right now?
Yeah, but anyways, welcome everybody to episode 2 of the Unsolicited Advice Podcast with myself, Chris, from the Rewired Soul. And go ahead and introduce yourself to these fine ladies and gentlemen.
And my name is Matt with Create You. Just here along for the ride. Just here.
Yeah. No, we're riding this together. Thelma and Louise. We are just boom.
Right off a cliff? Here. Is that what we're
right off a cliff into serenity is what we're
doing. There
it
is. Oh, serenity. That's a good word, man. That's a word I can live on right now.
So if anybody out there knows how to cross stitch, make Matt something that says serenity.
That's it. Just serenity. I'll take it all day long. Wait, I see no image. All he says, wait, I see no image.
I see an image.
Do you see it? I see an image.
I see an image too. Ollie, you might have to refresh.
I think so.
But does Tristan see an image? Tristan sees an image. All right.
We're set.
All right. Now Ollie's having the difficulties. But anyways, we got some exciting topics for you all today, and we're going to get started. So a lot of people asked me to make videos about this. I made one, but Matt, you made a phenomenal, one of the best I've ever seen, amazing video on Mr. Pete Davidson. And it was talking about how recovery sucks, and I can definitely relate to that. So can you kind of like recap your video a little bit and talk a little bit about it?
Absolutely,
or what
man.
Even Pete's going through?
Yeah, dude, and here's the thing, like I don't know if you read the article that I linked to it, but dude, it was heartbreaking. And then the video of I can't remember the comedian's last name, John, but he kind of teamed up with Pete on the weekend wrap up that they do. And dude, like heartbreaking watching John look at Pete and say, "Listen, man, we love you. We're here for you." And then seeing Pete's kind of lackadaisical response to it. Dude, like I've been there, man, and I know you have been too, where it's like someone's reaching out and you're not willing to accept it. You're like, I can't accept your kindness right now, right? So reading through the article and all I remembered is how much life, or how much my life sucked going through, especially that first year of recovery, man. Like I kept thinking that, well, I thought life was going to get better. I thought life was going to get better. And it's like, and finally, like my sponsor just looked at me and he's like, "Dude, you are such an idiot, man." Like
best type of sponsor.
Right. And he said, "I told you from the beginning, this is about improving you. What part of you has any bearing on life around you?" And I was like, "Oh, you mean I get better, but life is still going to do what life does?" And he goes, yeah. He goes, "Sorry, bro, that's not within your control." And it was like, oh, man. Like, but dude, I mean, and I think anybody who's spent any time in recovery totally gets it, man, because it's like that first year is rough, dude. It's rough. It's a lot of...
Dude, my second year was 5 times harder than my first year. I thought the first year was hard with me not working, my mom supporting me, going to 3 meetings a day. I'm like, all right, I got this recovery thing. I'm going to move back to Vegas, start working full time. And life just went,
dude,
right in my motherfucking face.
Here I'm trying to give hope, like, hey guys, it gets better when and dude's bringing the truth, man. Dude, Chris, you are so, like, I'll be honest, my first year was rough, man. The second year felt so much worse because now, like, and for me it was, oh shit, I've got a year now, like a year, and
I'm a big boy,
and like now it's like my sponsor immediately at a year was like, "You're gonna start sponsoring people," and I was like, what? No, I don't know. And then like I had sponsors leaving and sponsee, and I'm just like, oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, but it was beautiful, man, because what I tried to do is I tried to take what he was saying in the article and spin it into a positive message. And one of the huge ones was, he had said that the substance wasn't the problem. And I was like, dude, like he's not saying it for the reason that I would say it, right? But he's actually right, man. And that was always my problem. I just thought, well, if I'm not drinking, if I'm not drugging, then I'm good. Then I'm fine. And dude, what recovery taught me is that had nothing to do with it. No, like,
well, and I think you mentioned it in your video. Like, the thing is never the problem, right?
No,
the alcohol, the drugs, the sex, the food, the gambling. Those things are never the problem.
Never.
Like that. That's why what I'm always trying to teach people is the root. Because I don't know about you, but I've seen countless people.
Yep.
Start like leave one addiction, then find another, because we are constantly trying to self-medicate with things, with these outside things. But then, almost like you were talking about too, what your sponsor said is life doesn't change. We must change, right? That's why I always say, which is something I learned in recovery, is it's a lot easier for us to fix us than it is to fix the rest of the world, right? And it actually says that in the chapter on acceptance, it's not so much what's wrong with the rest of the world. It's about what we need to change, like in our attitudes and everything like that. Like, so all of you out there listening to this podcast, I don't care if you're dealing with trauma, depression, anxiety, addiction, bipolar, borderline, whatever it is. Like your mom's still going to be an asshole. Your dad might still be an asshole. Your boss might still be an asshole. People are still going to cut you off. Someone's going to cut you in line. Somebody's going to say some shit you don't like. But like, I don't know about you, Matt, but as soon as I accepted that, shit started getting better. As soon as I realized.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Dude, I'm like, okay. I don't know about you, but the acceptance thing for me is huge. To me, it's awareness and acceptance. That is the drumbeat in my mind, right? Through the first couple of years into sobriety, I still struggled with acceptance in life. Okay. So like I could accept that I was an alcoholic. I could accept like I had character defects. Where I struggled is in accepting that I could not do anything I had no impact or control on anything outside of me. Right.
Yeah.
So I struggled with this constantly. And dude, it was this aha moment when suddenly I went, I can't control this. And dude, life actually did start getting better. Yeah, and I was like, oh.
And here's the thing, like, because when you say that, like, because I've met, hundreds, if not thousands of people, like thousands, if we're talking about, my channel and everything like that, where like, when you talk about that, there's one or two, you have one or two options, right? We get to choose this, right? There's one or two options. You take that as a defeat, or you take that as a victory.
Correct.
Like once I realized that once I realized how much shit I don't have control over, oh my God, I'm like, sweet. Dude. That is a bunch of shit that I don't got to worry about.
What is it? But what? Okay, and like I talked about this all the time. To me, there's always like two types of people in the programs of AA. There's always two types, right? And the one person is going to look at that as a defeat and be like, well, then what's the point? And then the other person is going to be like you and I who go, dude, this is the most liberating, empowering moment of my life to say, I don't have to worry about this anymore. Yeah. It's a stress that I don't have to worry about.
Yeah. My first aha moment in the program, they call it a spiritual experience. And by the way, all of you out there who get tripped up about spiritual experience, it's the definition. I actually wrote it down in my book because the God thing fucked me up.
Right.
It says, look, got it right here. Original big book. Spiritual experience. Having a new attitude or outlook on life. That's it. That's it.
Yep.
So like my first one was I was in my sober living house and everybody was driving me fucking insane. My heart was beating out of my chest. The other day I had someone on Twitter saying, I don't think you're the right guy to be talking about anger in your book, Rewire Your Anger. I'm like, bitch, you didn't know me 6 years ago. Like, I'm talking sitting in a sober living house, literally sitting on the couch, thinking I'm going to have a heart attack.
Yes.
I was so pissed off.
Yep.
But that first experience was I had this aha moment like, wait, what they do is not my fucking problem.
Not
the way they think, the way they act is not my problem. We are all on this journey of life, right? If you wanna hop on my happy train, come along for the ride. If you want to sit over there in your misery, that is your damn thing, right? But I used to obsess over other people. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I think, and just to kind of like toss in a side topic real quick, I think that's why people click on the drama shit on YouTube.
Yes.
They are obsessed with other people's lives. They are obsessed with judging other people and everything.
Yes.
Like, don't get it twisted. I said this in the last week's episode. I lose zero sleep. Tristan was just telling me. She's like, I went to the bathroom the other night and you were out. You were out before I even came to bed. I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. And there are people out there who think I lose a fucking wink of sleep over some of the shit that goes on. I do not. Because I realize I say my piece and then I'm outie.
Peace out. I'm done.
Like, that's it.
Well, I think this brings up, to me, this is, I guess, to me, this is a huge one. This, and it's, I think you're able, or what the rooms at least have taught me, is you're able to put yourself out there with transparency, with your truth, and understand that, you know what anybody else does with that is entirely up to them. Mm-hmm. I've taken what I need to take out of this, and I move forward with it. And I think people get caught up so much thinking that they have control over other people. I mean, I don't know what your experience has been, and you've honestly actually worked more inside the industry than I have. But one of the things I constantly see is people struggling with wanting to control other people. It's their biggest control or their biggest issue.
It is such a bitch too, right? Most of my life, it was so focused on other people. And this could even like lean into like codependency, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like, I want you to get better. I want you to do this, you know, all these things. If I could only love this person more, they'll get better.
Right.
If I could only help this person more, if I could only provide them with the house, with the money, with the, you know, whatever, or if I could provide them with just a little bit more love, they can get better. And when you think about it, here's what I always joke with my clients about. So many people have an issue with the quote unquote God thing, yet so many of us are such control freaks. We're running around like we're God.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? I remember the first thing I learned about spirituality was the only thing you need to know about God is that you're not it. And I'm like, damn, God damn. Because I was trying to like, you know, maneuver every action because I thought I can control, you know, all these other people and, you know, things and outcomes. And it drove me crazy. And you know what happened? I don't know if this ever happened to you, Matt. When things didn't go the way I wanted, I was fucking baffled. Because I thought, if I strategize this just enough, every person, this piece on the chessboard, will do exactly what I want. And then when it didn't happen, well, how that? What? I'm a fucking genius and a mastermind. How did this not happen? Did that ever happen to you?
I remember the first time, like as I'm going through this process, because that was like I was a manipulator. Like if I had to put a check mark on a box somewhere, it would have been a manipulator and liar, right? And I would do anything. Like there'd be situations I didn't even need to manipulate, but still I was plotting all this in my head. And then when it finally hit me that I really had no control over anything, it was like, dude, like, and this is why I always talk about ego. All my ego went away because suddenly Matt couldn't do anything. Like, once I recognized that I had no control over this stuff, I was left with me, and I was like, oh shit, like I can't even control me. I don't even know who I am. Speaking of control though, and ego and all this, I have to shift this conversation though, because this one easily shifts into a recent video of yours, sir. And
let me ask you something before we jump to that one. I don't know if they're ready for it yet. I don't know if they're ready for it yet.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, because this is where a lot of people get tripped up, and I want to hear your thoughts on it. So, like, once you let go, once you start letting go of all this stuff, and you're not a control freak and all these other things, like, how do you still take responsibility for your actions, right? Because some people think that this is just letting go of life and saying, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. Right. So how do you find that balance? What can we offer these beautiful people listening or watching our podcast?
So I think the hang up, and okay, I don't know how far down the Buddhism path you've gone, for you, but
I've got some steps. I've got some steps down that path.
Okay. I got to a place, and this was like 2 years ago. I think it was like right before I started futzing around with YouTube, where suddenly it hit me like one of the things inside of Buddhism is like to not throw the stone into the pond, because that would cause a ripple, and we need to understand that our actions and everything we do has some type of percussive force into the universe, right? So I got to a point in my existence where I was like, well, then I shouldn't be doing anything. And I just stagnated, bro. Like, it was like 2 months of questioning everything, man. Like, it was not cool at all. Like, it was incredibly awesome, but uncool, right? So moving forward from that, I had to find a balance in the things I could control and then the things I couldn't. The things that I could not take accountability of, I speak about boundaries all the time, and understanding what we are responsible for and what we are not responsible for. And at the end of the day, what I had to come down to is we are responsible for our behavior. Okay? Simple as that. All right? So when it comes to not being able to control the things around you, I cannot control if I get fired. Okay? Like, I can't.
Well, let me play devil's advocate.
Right.
You can control, like, doing a good job to not get fired.
Yes, and that is the balance. Okay? The balance is I cannot control if my boss decides to fire me. What I can control is my own behavior and behaving appropriately, doing my job, being responsible to my employees, making sure they're doing what they need to be doing. Like, here is the difference. I am accountable and responsible for my behavior, okay? And years of therapy and counseling and recovery has established in me a moral and ethical line. And I say, this is what I know I should be doing.
That's crazy too, because I've talked about this in videos before. Like, I've met so many people who are like, I want to work at a rehab. Chris, how do I get a job at a rehab? I'm
no, you don't.
Don't do it. Right? When I started getting the phone calls about the relapses, and then even worse, the phone calls about all the deaths. Like, that's when my control freak starts kicking in, right? What could I have done? What could I have done? What could I have done? And the only thing, like, dealing with over 70 deaths in the last 3 years, the only thing that keeps me sane is sitting back and reflecting on different situations and saying, did I do everything in my power? Correct. If I can answer that yes, I can go to sleep at night. You know what I mean? But like you said, which is very important, everybody, all of us, we need to, like, I suggest to my clients that they take out a notepad, and write down a list. What are your morals? What are your values?
Correct.
Right? So whenever you're making a decision, check your motives, all that stuff, But the last thing I want to talk about on this topic is I asked in the chat, I said, what mental illnesses are you, like, diagnosed with, right?
Right.
So going back to what we were talking about is, like, accepting our illness, right? Accepting, like, it's empowering. Because one thing we don't have control over is our diagnosis. Whether it's addiction, somebody said PTSD, we got a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, accepting your mental illness? Because for me, getting diagnosed as, drug addict, alcoholic, getting diagnosed with a generalized anxiety disorder, I was like, oh, well, now I know what I get to work on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Rather than just this thing. So talking about acceptance and that, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, accepting your PTSD, accepting your trauma, your depression, your anxiety. How do you accept that in a way that it empowers you?
Well, again, I'm going to use a very real world example here. And I think this comes from my my days in the military, and it wasn't the enemy we were aware of that scared us. It was the enemy we were unaware of.
Ooh,
that we were
damn.
scared of the most, right?
Yeah.
So you walk into any situation, any operation, and you're like, okay, I know there are baddies over there, but over there, I haven't even looked over there. I don't know what's over there, and you're constantly in fear and terror of this thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, inside of the world of recovery, of mental health, I view it very much the same way. I need to know what the problem is because I can't find a solution until I've identified the problem.
Yeah, but people are so afraid. Afraid. Dude, I remember people scaring the shit out of me talking about the 4th step before I got there.
Oh.
Like I legit thought like once you started your 4th step, like maybe like an arm was gonna come out of my book with a needle and just shoot me up full of dope or something. But dude, when I got in there, it was the most awakening, empowering thing, like learning about myself.
Right.
I started getting excited. I couldn't wait to write this shit down. I'm like, I have a fear of abandonment. Oh, I have a fear of not being loved. Oh, I have a fear of being talked to like I'm stupid. Now I know what to work on. Like,
correct.
So many people watching, so many people listening. You are so afraid of facing your demons, but once you identify those, now everything you already hit the bottom. Now the only way direction to go is up. Okay, so I cannot stress enough. You gotta face this thing. There's a reason, and it's great that it rhymes. But in order to heal, you gotta feel.
Correct.
You know what I mean? You gotta fight. You gotta find that enemy so you can face it.
Yes. How do you? Again, you have spent a lot of time in this industry, actually working in the industry. How do you take a person who is, I mean, and dude, we've seen them. They're terrified of looking at themselves. They are terrified of looking inward. How have you worked with others through that process to identify the actual problem inside themselves?
I kind of like what I just said. I've learned from, like, I'm able to empathize and put myself in their position. Like I was saying, it was so scary to me. So kind of like what I just said, like when I was doing like groups or even one-on-ones, like I was like, this is exciting. It is the best thing that will ever happen to you. Dude. You know what I mean? Because like we were talking about, the drug is the problem, the alcohol isn't the problem, your mom isn't the problem, your dad, your boss, your friends, your family, your cousin, your ex, none of them are the problem.
Correct.
The way that you're taking this stuff in and spitting it back out, like that's the problem. We have this thing is the problem, right? Like my ex-girlfriend wasn't the problem. You know, like us breaking up was the best thing to ever happen to me because now I have my beautiful girlfriend Tristan.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Today I was really paying attention to the promises because you know how you kind of get in that autopilot.
Absolutely.
Right? Those of you who don't know the promises, maybe we'll tell you about it later. But anyways, it was talking about those promises. I just started smiling. I'm like, you goddamn right. You're damn right. Dude. My whole attitude and outlook on life has changed.
Dude, okay, and it's tough, man, because and I love the promises because never once does it say that anything in life is going to change, get better, none of that, right? Like your fear of insecurity or your insecurities, like these things will leave you, right? It's talking about you. It's you reframing your entire existence in life. And what better promise is there than that? To be able to feel something more. I don't know.
It's crazy. I'm making a video later this week that I talked to you guys about. Well, fuck it. It's no secret. I'm going to make a response to Dr. Todd Grande because he's not, I wouldn't say he's anti-AA and stuff, but like all of you listening, all of you who are in the Rewired Soldier camp, like just to let you know, I've tricked all of you into 12-step stuff. Every single one of you. Like, I'm not as creative as you guys think. This is all shit that I'm spitting back out of my, how do I do this? You know, that's all it is. And I want some of you to get these promises, right? Yes. And like the way I sell people is like, if you do the simple, like the baseline simple shit, right? You accept your fucking problem. You believe that there's a way to get better, right? You start to trust in this process. You look at yourself. You take a real hard fucking look at yourself. You have the willingness to better yourself, right? You try to be a better person, apologize and all that other good shit. Like, your life is going to get amazing. Like, I would have never started working on my mental health had I not seen time and time and time again. I'm like, okay, some people did X, Y, and Z, and their life is amazing.
Correct.
Their life is amazing. I would have never done it.
No.
If I was waiting for the day for somebody to be like, hey, I did all the shit you told me and my life sucks. If I could meet one person who told me that,
yes, I
would have just bounced. But dude, I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him.
Yes. Yes. Well, and it's so funny. I've been saying the same thing with certain members of my own team and community, is that what I'm doing is not magic. It's not rocket science. I basically took that stupid book up there that I've been reading for a few years and went, how do I apply this to what I'm doing? And I went, oh, this is really easy. And it works. So, okay, let's do this. And it's like, I think I've never understood why certain therapists, certain counselors, psychologists have such a negative view or a negative opinion of something like AA.
But never. Guess what?
What?
We're gonna dive so far into that next week.
I know.
That's why you guys need to stay tuned.
I know. I am so excited about this conversation, Chris. I am so excited about this one.
I want to talk about what we talked about on the phone. Maybe we'll talk about that next week in a nicer way.
I think that needs to be. Yeah, that's one I need to allow to calm down and like filter through
be respectful.
Yes, because my program demands that I filter things and I process them before I go out to the world with it. So speaking about processing things and filtering things, you scared the shit out of me last night.
I scared the shit out of a lot of people.
Yeah, you did, bro. So okay, and after watching your video today on Keemstar, I feel better, but talk me through this. Like, talk me off the ledge, if you were. What was going on? Because that video hit on so many different aspects. I mean, what I saw in that video was how I deal with people going through recovery rooms who are just walking in, and also what I must have been like. It was like a mirror image of me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I forgot to actually add this in the end of the video. I always say it whenever I talk about Keemstar. I love Keemstar. Love that dude so much, but I do not like him.
Right?
I remember when I first got clean, my mom was, I kept hearing the word acceptance. Yes. And there were so many people who just drove me fucking nuts. And I'm like, Mom, how do I accept these people?
Right.
She's like, Chris, you can accept that they're an asshole and move on. And I'm like, oh, so acceptance works like that too, right? So again, like, don't get it twisted. I don't lose a wink of sleep over somebody like Keemstar. But what was going through my head is, now that my channel's bigger, and people, like to tell me what my channel is or what it isn't and all this, but part of it's advocacy. Part of it is advocacy. And part of advocacy and destigmatizing stuff, like you and I have talked about this before. I've talked about this with a bunch of other people in recovery rooms. Like, there's traditions and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, well, if you have to excommunicate me from AA, go for it, because I'm willing to go out there and, talk some truth to people, right?
Correct.
Because, I've seen so many people just discredit, like you were saying, like the program or whatever. But anyways, part of my thing is advocacy. Like, my thing is, do not prevent people from something that could potentially save their lives, and do not encourage something that could potentially end their life. Right?
Correct.
So Keemstar, somebody like that with we all have a large responsibility. How many subscribers do you have on your channel?
I've just 500 plus or something like that.
Just like, listen to that word. Listen to this motherfucking Matt saying just 500.
He's going to chew me out.
That is 500 people that you could potentially influence.
I know.
Right?
I know.
In either, now we have the option. We can influence them in a good way or a bad way.
Yep.
Now you got somebody like Keemstar who has millions upon millions upon millions of people. Okay. And he is constantly doing this, saying things that are just stigmatizing. And don't get me wrong, I love to joke about mental health. And here's a great way to relate it. I'm half black. I've ran into many a racist in my life, right? But I don't got time to get offended over every little fucking thing.
Right.
I take it in,
Yep.
and I say, okay, was it a joke? What was their intention? Were they trying to be, this way? So I see people joking about like mental health and stuff, and I understand how some people get offended, but I don't. But Keemstar has had a history of doing it in a way to offend people with absolutely no remorse. And one of the things is I don't appreciate how he tries to play both sides and make people think that he cares about mental health.
Correct.
So like part of my advocacy trying to destigmatize this thing is calling people out on bad behavior. For some people, that's LGBTQ stuff, right? For some people, they stand up for veterans. Some people, they stand up for the police. Some people fight for women's rights. My thing is, I'm willing to have a little bit of a conflict to fight for the people who are struggling with mental illness. Correct. I want people to know, just because this guy Keemstar said something doesn't mean that you have to take it, right? Correct. And I feel that every step of the way, other people might have their own opinions. I actually have some people who have other opinions. I feel like each time I've handled it in in a decent way. Again, I'm comparing it to who I was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, Chris would be 6 years ago. Y'all don't even know. 6 years ago, if somebody started some shit with me on Twitter, right? Every single tweet would have started out with "Listen, motherfucker." Right, exactly. Like, 6 years ago, that's how every tweet would have started out. So like when people think that I'm being mean, I'm like, you don't know old Chris. You don't know mean yet. But does that make sense, Matt? Am I crazy, right? And especially, okay, hold on. Let me ask your thoughts on this, because you're a recovering addict too. Keemstar said that I'm nothing but a loser drug addict. Yes. Okay? Yes. This is dude. Okay. I think I know where you're going with that, but go ahead and finish your question. Well, let me ask you, like, okay, you have some clean time, you have years of sobriety, but how do you take that? Because I'm always asking myself, what is the newcomer hearing, right? Yeah. So what if one of those, let me remind everybody, millions of people, right? What if one of those people is somebody struggling with an addiction? Addiction affects 1 out of every 12 people. Right. So statistically, he has thousands. Yes. So think about the person who saw him say that, who has an addiction. What did they hear? So I want to hear from you, Matt. What did you hear and how did you take it? The exact same thing you did, bro. Like, dude, you can call me whatever the fuck you want to. I don't give a shit. Like, okay, that's fine. Have fun with that, right? Dude, I've taken meetings to jails. I've taken meetings to prison. You know what? Guess what? You're right. The person I was 6 years ago, I was a drug addict loser. And I can look back at myself and go, you know what? Yeah, I was on the losing team 100%. Yeah. Today, that's not me. But that experience has made me who I am. It's added to the value of me as a human being. And I can balance that in my own world, and I'm okay with that. What I hear, though, is, Chris, guys like you and I, we've put in time on this. So when someone says, hey, you're just a drug addict loser, it doesn't affect us like that. It's not going to, because it's like, well, okay, he doesn't understand. I think about the millions of people who follow him, and then the millions of other people who are just going to happen across that tweet and go, fuck, am I just a loser? Is that all it is? Why should I get help? Right. Why should I get help? Right. Why should I even attempt recovery if I'm always going to be a drug addict loser? Correct. Like, that's what I'm saying. Even with whether you have 500 subscribers or 5 million, right? We have that influence. And correct. I appreciate my loyal following who understands, but like, I will never, unless I'm having a really, like, I don't even want to say, because I've had really fucked days and I have never gone to that level. Right? Yeah, like, dude. You know what I mean? But like we're talking about, I can take it. Yeah. I can take it. Sure. But anyways, I've had a couple DM conversations with people, and especially when I talked about how I baited him out or whatever. And it's funny because in the book I just read about, no. What book was I reading? Shit. It was either the Ego book or The Obstacle is the Way. But it was actually a strategy that Gandhi used against the government.
Ooh.
He baited them out. Like, basically, like, the government was shitty.
Right.
He was trying to show everybody how shitty the government was. So he did something against the law with a large group of people. And he's like, go ahead, try it. All you're going to do is prove me right. You know what I mean? So he did it. So my goal was with that video to put Keemstar in a lose-lose situation.
Yes.
You know? Now, I'm not of any delusion that Keemstar is going to change. Who the fuck am I?
Right.
You know? But either A, he's going to think twice before keep doing his thing, telling Erica Costello she looks like Eugenia Cooney, before, you know, making fun of Demi Lovato's overdose, before, you know, either he's going to do that, or he's going to come at me like he did and prove me right. You know what I mean? Okay. So for everybody who's upset with me, get upset with Gandhi.
Right, okay? Right, exactly. It was Gandhi's fault, not mine. All right.
Yeah.
He's the one who did. Okay, so here's my question though, and I'm in this unique position to kind of live vicariously through your growth right now. Okay, and in watching as you start attracting the attention of guys like Keemstar, etc., what is to me most baffling, I always hear that there's this mental health stigma, right? There's this stigma about mental health. And I'm the type of guy who is like, fuck off. I don't care if there's a mental health stigma or not.
Yeah.
If you have an issue, go find help, get into therapy, and then get yourself through to the other side. I do not give a fuck. However, comma, period, when I see someone like Keem, who has millions of followers, a very influential person, start talking shit in that kind of way,
yeah,
it forces me to step back, and I go, well, shit, man. Like, is there more you could do? Is there more I could do? Like, how do we combat that type of mindset, man?
It's, you know, and that's the balance, because it's, I think, you know, the easy thing to do is to constantly say, not my fight, not my battle. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because like I said, I'm not offended by it, right? But I also think there's some responsibility on me because of this platform. So here's my strategy, and all of you listening right now or watching right now, like, here's my strategy. I'll be there on the front lines to point out when Keemstar is being a dick, right? But once I get you on my side, I'm going to tell you Keemstar is always going to be a dick.
Right.
Let it go and get better. All right?
There.
Your mental health recovery cannot be dependent on nobody saying anything that ever offends you ever.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like whether you're recovering from addiction, from depression, anxiety, eating disorder, any of that thing, it cannot be dependent on other people. It has to be dependent on you. You know what I mean?
And again, I love this fucking guy. I love you, man, because you bring it back to a word that I know triggers people and upsets people, but you know what? I don't care, and that word is accountability. You are accountable for yourself. You are accountable for your problems, the solution. You are accountable for that. And in that accountability, there is amazing empowerment. It is incredible how empowering it is.
Like, Matt, do you have any idea? No, well, you have an idea. Yeah, so I'm going to talk to all of you. You're on this screen over here.
Right, exactly.
Do you have any idea how nice it is to fucking just see people like Keemstar talking shit and give zero fucks? Like, you know what I mean? So the book I'm reading right now, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Right.
Have you read that?
Oh, dude, that's a book I was talking about. I love that book.
Yeah,
what's his name? Matt Manson or Mike Manson?
Yeah, something like that.
Dude.
Book. But anyways, he talks about how this book isn't exactly about not giving a fuck.
Right.
It's about finding things that you really give a fuck about and focusing all your energy there. Like, guys, I don't got time. Like, I am living on borrowed time. 6.5 years ago, I had a 10% chance of living. My mom was there crying. My son almost lost his father. I don't have time to let bullshit get under my skin. Now, as my channel is growing, I'm not going to lie, and Tristan can attest to this, people are getting under my skin, right? But then I get snapped back. Certain things snap me back to reality and saying, Chris, this could be a whole lot worse. I was actually telling Tristan the other day, I said, the next time I start bitching about some bullshit, remind me about how bad withdrawal was.
Oh,
right?
dude.
Or how bad it was waiting for my drug dealer who was around the corner and took 3 fucking hours.
Correct.
Remind me about that.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And when so all of you listening to the podcast, like, use that as your strength, right? Think about your lowest low. As long as I don't hit that place again, I'm good.
Correct.
Right? Even if I like now, if I hit a depression, at least I'm depressed in a fucking house with lights on. I remember being depressed without a house.
Correct.
Living in my truck.
Correct.
You know?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
talk about gratitude.
Dude.
Right?
Well, and I think a lot of it, honestly, a lot of it at the end of the day boils down to that. We have a tendency, as recovery goes on, that we start taking for granted. I mean, we talked about this in last week's episode. We start taking for granted all these gifts that we found, and we get complacent with it, right? Mm-hmm. So we start it's not like we're backsliding. It's just like shit that should really not be bothering us starts bothering us. Yeah. We're not living inside of gratitude. And again, to me, that's one of the huge reasons why journaling is so important. It's so that we can look back on what it was like to come off booze, come off heroin, come off any type of opioid, and go, fuck, I never want to go through that again. You know what? I'm pretty grateful I am where I am today. Yeah. This is where I'm happy at, you know?
And the problem is our brain gets, it's crazy how so many of us lack mindfulness, like being in the moment. Right. But whenever things get bad, this is the worst experience ever.
Oh,
like,
God,
I force myself to remember how bad things were. Like, everybody listening to this, like, no matter how bad today was, it could be worse. You know what I mean? Right. Like, and even if today, the day you are listening to this podcast is the worst day of your life, it could be worse.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Like, whatever it is, like, whatever is happening, I'm not going to give examples because somebody's going to have that thing happen. But anyways, there is something that could be worse. You know what I mean? So the next tattoo I'm thinking about getting, which I heard, is the phrase amor fati. Okay, and what that's translated to is love one's fate. And it's just this thing of loving everything, right? Loving everything. Love the good, love the bad,
yes,
love all of it. Because even in the bad, I'm learning something from it.
Yes.
You know, no matter what comes my way, I am learning something from it. I'm like, what can I learn from this? When it first happens, I'm like, fuck this.
Yep.
But I can reflect on it and say, how do I learn from that? How do I avoid that happening again? You know what I mean?
I gotta ask your opinion here. Mm-hmm. I find for myself that I actually learn more during the bad times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you would agree with that. Okay, and I think the oddity here is people live in fear of the bad times. They so don't want to go through them. They want to do anything in their power to avoid them. I mean, it's one reason that I lied my ass off and was a master manipulator many years ago. I just didn't want the bad times, and I just created them in different ways. But today, when they happen, I'm acutely aware of them, and I actually there's almost like this sick pleasure in it for me, dude, where I'm like, okay, what do I get to learn right now? Like, how am I going to expand my mind?
And it wasn't always that easy for you, though, was it?
Fuck no! Are you crazy? No, no.
I'm just thinking about what the listeners are thinking, because like this sounds like some trotty dad, like, because it's even difficult for me sometimes.
Right.
But like something I was taught too is every bad experience I have is an opportunity to teach somebody else, right? Or give somebody else hope.
Correct.
Like that's why we talk to others about our struggles and what we've been through, and we listen to other people's struggles and things like that. Because, like, for example, a great example is when I first got sober. So here's a funny story. I haven't said this in a video yet. Okay. So when I first got sober, and when I first got a sponsor, he said, "What are your reservations? Like, what are your reservations? What are the things on your list where if this happens, you're gonna go out and drink or use drugs?" I'm like,
right,
all right, motherfucker, let's do this, right? I'm like, I'm like, if my son dies, I'm
Yep.
gonna drink or use.
Yep.
If my grandma dies, I'm gonna drink or use, right?
Yep.
If this happens, and then I just kept going on. And I was a pain pill addict. And then you just start thinking of weird shit. I'm like, okay, if a shark bites off my leg, I'm gonna get high. All right. Like I had so many things on my list. And this guy looks at me and he says, okay. And then I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Like, aren't you supposed to like tell me that that's wrong? He's like, no.
No.
Right?
No.
But what happened was, as I began listening to other people, I remember going to a meeting where I met a woman who, when she had like 2 or 3 years sober, her child died and she was still sober.
Oh,
she was sober like 5 years later, right? So I'm like, wait a second, there goes that excuse. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I met a guy who got diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh.
And he spoke at an NA meeting and he said he'd been sober for 13 years and he wants to die sober. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yep.
Like, if you're sitting in a room of newcomers, right? And you said, hey, there's a meteor coming down, you guys got 24 hours to live. Everybody be like, fuck it, let's get high, right?
Correct.
But
correct.
it took me a long time to understand why that guy wanted to die sober, right? Like I think about it now. If I walk out, since I don't control certain things, if I walk outside and a lightning bolt just takes me out, what's the last memory I want my son to have of me?
Correct.
What's the last memory I want Kristen to have of me? What's the last memory I want my good friend Matt to have of me, right?
Oh,
so
your
like,
smile.
so these are the things. So now, but now like I'm in a place where it's like, what can I learn from it? So all the struggles that I'm going through in YouTube, and I haven't actually thought about this until this conversation right now. All these struggles that I'm going through with YouTube, from people leaving shitty comments, from Keemstar being a dick, from people trying to make exposed videos on me. Guess what? I get to teach the next YouTuber about it.
Correct.
I get to tell the next YouTuber how I got through it, and I continued to make videos, and maybe that can give them hope.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And how about this? I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this with you right now, because it's actually this is I guess I'll give you a sneak peek, if you will, because I've been trying to structure this video in my head. And it's kind of a thank you video to the trailblazers before me. And you're actually kind of like way up there on the list, bro. And one of my biggest reservations was going down this path, talking about mental health, talking about recovery, is one, I'm kind of a dick. And like, I'm very much no nonsense when it comes to recovery. And that's why
we're friends.
Right. And like a lot of the mental health product I was seeing online was not at all what I was about, man. It wasn't. And I'm like, dude, I don't know if this has a place here. And then when I found you, I was like, it does. So in all cases, man, like whether you were just talking about like sharing it and passing that on, you're living it, dude. You already are. And that's huge, man. You're setting a stage for people to go, you know what? I'm going to learn through someone else. As long as we're open and willing, we'll watch that happen, you know?
And let me tell you the struggle I'm facing right now. Like I like to overcome these challenges and make response videos. Part of it's ego, but a lot of it's to teach others too. But a lot of people don't get that, except for you, me, and other people who get that. Because if I make a video like that, people are like, "Oh, look at you just being all like, oh, I'm the best, I'm a badass." Right. And it's like, no, what I'm trying to do is show you that even if some dick with millions of subscribers talks shit to you, you don't have to let it faze you.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Even if people call you a fraud, even if people say that you're not a licensed, even like that shouldn't deter you from what your goal in life is.
Yes.
And there are some people who are never going to believe that about me. There's some people who will. There's some people who just know it from the fiber of their being. Like, it means a lot to me when I see comments from my audience, or even some people making videos on my side, and like they truly get me, right? They get me on a level where I haven't even talked about it. I'm like, oh, you get me, you understand, right?
Correct.
Like you get why I did that. You get why I said that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it is an issue where people think like me sharing about how I overcame struggles. Like there are always going to be people thinking that I'm like ruffling my own feathers. This is the symbol for ruffling feathers.
Is that the? So we've got the tea and feathers.
Yeah.
That's what we've got.
Oh, look at this guy just ruffling his feathers.
Right?
About internet connections.
Dude, yeah, we're gonna take a break a little bit early, guys. See if we can fix the internet connection. We'll be back in about 10 minutes, no more. Maybe a little bit less if we get figured out. But give us about 10 minutes, boys and girls. We will be right back, and we appreciate you. One, and we're back, sort of, kind of.
Sort of, kind of.
Boys and girls, we appreciate you guys struggling with us as we give you a grand example of how wait, what was it? Is drug addict losers, right? Understand that there are things outside of our control, and we just have to deal with it as we go, you know?
See, and something that I've always told people is I'm grateful to be a drug addict loser, because how else would I have learned how to deal with this shit?
Right.
Like back in the day, if my ping dropped like a little bit under medium, I'd be like, well, I got to snort some morphine now.
Right.
You know? There's no wall punching here. No drugs, no alcohol.
Dude, seriously, the best part of this, like, if I was going through this 6 years ago, man, I would be like, oh yeah, a drink and a line is totally gonna fix this. And it's like, how that mentality works, I don't know. But today it's nice because it's like, we're laughing about it. Yes, we're frustrated, or 100% frustrated, but it's like, I've got some decent coping mechanisms to get us through this one.
And can I tell you the trick for all of our beautiful listeners, since you can't really see me? I'm frozen.
Right.
I'm frozen in a good pose right now. You got to look at other people in your life. I'm not saying me. I'm not saying Matt, but you can if you want to, and say, how the fuck do they deal that easily?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember when my car broke down. When it broke down, I just picked up and, did the rest of my day. Like, I was just like, oh, well, that happened. Like, that's not who I used to be.
No.
I'm like, oh, getting a new car. Like, that's all that happened. And I was like, thank God I have a job in which I can buy a new car.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Well, and again, doesn't it, you know what? And I could talk about this conversation forever, because it's the same thing in YouTube, it's the same thing in life. It doesn't matter what it is. And this is why I love the world of recovery, and what I've learned in therapy is that so much of the context we learn in the rooms of AA specifically, we apply those to all things in our lives. And suddenly I go, oh man, like, I understand shit's still going to happen to me. Like, it's never going to stop. But it's how I respond to it that makes all the difference in the world. Like, before break, you were talking about your sponsor had asked you, what are the things that are going to make you have another drink or relapse, right? And you're like, well, if my son died, or I lost my girlfriend, or like a laundry list of shit, right?
Yeah.
And I ask people in therapy, people in recovery, the same question. Like, what event would cause you to relapse? And it's usually a lot of the same things, right? And if they got honest, that's a laundry list. That's a epic. It's Gilgamesh's epic all over again. It's just anything would cause a relapse. But what I always tell them is, then you really need to get very honest with yourself and sit down and say, in a theoretical world, I'm going to lose all this. And how consistent are you going to be with your recovery? And I think that's where recovery really starts, is when you suddenly go, well, son of a bitch, if my kids weren't here, and my wife wasn't here, and my job wasn't here, and the car wasn't here, would I still be doing this?
Yeah, and that's why I'm so grateful for the struggle I've been through, because my first year, I had nothing. I had squat, right?
Yep.
And now I can look back and I'm just like, okay, well, if I can get through all of that, everything else is easy.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And
Correct.
I've been through, by the way, something that I didn't get to touch on. I actually lost my grandma a few years ago. That was one of the things at the top of my list. That was number 2 after my son. My grandma was the number 1 in my life, right? And I lost her. I stayed clean, So something that we didn't touch on, this last kind of topic we'll talk about with the Keemstar situation, is so many people. I'm so grateful that I feel like you. I got like dozens of messages. Hey man, so what happened with Keemstar? Are you all right? Are you all right? I'm like, yo, I'm fucking great. You know what I mean? Like, my grandma didn't die. Like, she's already gone. Like, dick on Twitter isn't gonna make me, you know what I mean? Because
Right.
especially because I have so many friends in recovery who are in this space now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like this is nothing.
Correct.
But yeah, Matt, do me a favor. So one of the things I'm grateful for is my support group. Let's talk about Boogie. Let's talk about your whole video on Boogie, what inspired that, way you can relate to, especially because my motor might restart any minute now. So
Okay.
entertain me with that. And let's switch topics.
I'm going to, absolutely. So I recently did a video on Boogie 2988, and I'm sure if you guys have spent any time on YouTube's, you are fully aware of Boogie. This guy has struggled with obesity. He has struggled with abuse, like, and if you've ever watched podcasts with him, you'll find out like his entire history is rough, man. Childhood trauma and childhood abuse, like just this. It's a heartbreaking story, right? It's so heartbreaking. But he had done this video about, and I'm sorry to provide more context to him. Last year, he went through a divorce. He had a gastric bypass surgery, and he's actually been doing really well. He's losing weight. He's trying to abide by what the doctor is talking about, telling him about his diet and whatnot. And I know some people in my life who are also struggling with eating disorders right now, whether it's binge eating, whether it's anorexia, like bulimia, like these are some personal people in my life. So when I see a guy like Boogie going through this and being very open and honest with his journey, that's huge. That's huge, and it's very helpful, right? So when I saw that video, I was like, man, this is a good opportunity to talk about the failures, because that's what his video was about. He was on vacation in LA, or he was on a trip in LA, and he fell off his diet. And, and I understand YouTubers are going to do things to get clicks, to get views. And if it's just human nature, if we see something that says, hey, I failed, everybody wants to see, like, how bad did you fail, right? It's ridiculous, but that's what gets the views. So, but he did. He did not lose as much weight as he really wanted to. And I took that to me and I went, man, like, there's so many people inside of recovery, and it's like, I'll hear stories of someone saying something like, well, I had a drink, or I had a thought about having a drink today, and I feel like I'm failing.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? And it's like, damn, no, dude, like that's not how this works. Like, you have to understand, this is a disease. Like, it fucks with you, man.
Yeah.
And so, like, so many people want to, and it's one reason I talked about it in this video, is there's kind of two different types of people I've seen come into the recovery rooms. One set is like, they come in like all hard and just looking for an excuse. Like, oh, I'm just like this because my partner. Oh, I'm just like this because my boss doesn't understand. And it's like, that person needs to get shit on. Hard, you beat the hell out of that person and break them down. The other type of human being is walking into recovery, and now he's gone, so I'm talking to you, they come in so emotionally distraught. They just beat the hell out of themselves, and those are the type of individuals we need to raise up, okay? And that type of person usually struggles with this entire disease concept. And it messes with me, guys. Like, now I'm switching from having a conversation with Chris. Now I'm having a conversation with you guys. If there's a are we coming back? We may be. In any case, we'll see what happens over here. Here's the thought, guys. I understand that a lot of people struggle with this concept of addiction being a disease. I totally get it. But you, as if you're struggling with an opioid addiction, alcoholism, food, whatever that addiction is, whatever it is, you need to understand that just a little bit of kindness for yourselves will go a long way. It really will, okay? This concept that, well, a disease is an excuse, we need to stop. And you guys need to recognize that disease is always in the back of your head. And before you behave, before you act on anything, before you like actually pick up a drink or pick up a piece of food or a pill, that disease is always sitting in the back of your head. So when it feeds you those thoughts, when it feeds you those ideas, you have to understand, listen, that's over there. This is where it belongs. You don't have to behave, okay? Because at the end of the day, we are accountable for our behavior, okay? So in this way, we can be kind to ourselves and understand that this is our disease talking. It's always going to be there. But we can hold ourselves accountable. I mean, dude, I go back to something like, that's why when some dude like Keemstar says, you're just a drug addict loser. You know what, dude? Guess what? Guess what? I'm okay. You can call me a drug addict loser. I'm okay with that.
You're a drug addict loser.
Right. Because guess what? I don't behave like one today. And to me, that's where I hold myself accountable, is inside of my behavior. But I still understand, man, the next time at a sales presentation, there's a good chance I'm going to look at that bottle of scotch and I'm going to go, you know what?
Drug addict loser.
Well, that bottle of scotch looks good. But that's my disease talking to me. I don't have to respond to it. That he's just showing up for a quick howdy do. That's all he's doing. He'll be back in a few minutes. So guys, like, right, exactly. That was quick, Bana, right? Oh, wait, we're coming back. Are we back? Oh, your video looks great, dude.
Does it?
Oh my, nope, you're still robot. No, don't do that. You're going to break the internet again. Don't do that. Oh my God. Right. Just, we're letting it warm up.
Yeah, it's trying.
Right, it's slowly working on it. But guys, like that, if there's something that I want you guys to kind of take away with this, like you guys inside of recovery, it's one, understand that failure is going to happen. I mean, like I know a lot of people, and I see it in the rooms of recovery, I see it on YouTube. People will want to idolize someone like a dude in the program who's been there for like 25 years. Or someone like Chris, even. Chris, how many times have you failed in recovery?
Like, I had multiple relapses,
right.
Like 6, 7.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. What did you do coming back in after that? Was it, you know what? I'm going to white chip again, and I'm getting back on the boat.
I always tell people, here's my secret. Here's my secret recipe for recovery. I looked at everything that I didn't do and I wasn't willing to do, and looked at everything I was doing, and check this out. I did the opposite. And oh my God, like everything was bad. I just did the opposite. So I wasn't willing to, do this, whatever it was. So it goes back to what we were talking about before of, there weren't losses. There were only learning experiences.
Correct.
That's it.
Correct.
Like if you learn from your mistakes, that's what it is. But anyways, I was listening to you on that and whatever. You guys might just have audio of me for the rest of this. Is the audio fine?
Well, here's what I want you to do. I want you to kill your video, sir. Kill the video. Kill the video. Kill it with extreme prejudice.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
There.
Can you put a pretty picture of me up there?
Yes, sir. Sir. I am taking care of this. I will not allow this to go unaddressed. We're going to say this is Chris. We're going to say, okay. We're going to browse, and we're going to come over here. Into here.
Look at this.
Into here. And we're going to this. Unsolicited. Graphics. Stock. You sexy. Look at you. Look at how good you look.
Look
Bam.
at me.
Look how good you look, Chris. We're gonna put
What
you.
fucking picture did you just?
Oh,
You could have gone to my Instagram and got me and my cat.
Wait.
Anything.
Hold on. Well, hold on here, but there, Chucky. All right, hold on. Let's see. Can I pull this here? Hold on. Instagram. You got a good one? You got a good one on Instagram?
I don't know. Probably.
Right? Hold on. Let's see. Chris. Let's see. What do we got over here? Here we go. Oh, look how cute that is. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, I like this one better.
It's fucked because I can't see which one you're looking at.
Right.
Like,
Well, I don't know. We'll fix it here in a minute. All right, hold on a second. Let's do this. We're gonna do this. New display capture. We're gonna go this left. Okay. Bam. All right. What about? Do you like this one? The one that's on screen right now?
Yeah.
You like
buy
that
my
one?
merch too.
Oh, buy
my shirt.
Okay, there we go. We're gonna buy some merch.
That Tristan.
Right. Exactly. All right. Watch, guys. You get to watch how this happens live. Watch.
How creepy is this? Seeing how many pictures Matt has of me on his computer.
I know, right? Exactly.
I can see his folder right there.
Right. All right. Let's do this. Okay, now we can go zoom. Yeah, can we go make that any bigger? Let's do this. Okay, so what about that? What about that? You like that?
Yeah.
You like that?
That's good.
You like
That's
that?
good.
You like that? Okay, that's a winner right there. We're gonna put this right there.
See, well, you're fucking with that. Let me tell everybody that teach. Like, I'm always trying to teach my audience, learn from everything, right? I want you guys to watch this and understand, like, if Matt and I were two guys not in recovery, if we weren't the loser fucking drug addicts that we are, like, we might have just said, you know what, fuck this podcast, fuck the audience, we don't need to do this shit. But, like, Matt and I have years under our belt of going with the fucking flow and not letting people down.
Oh my god, dude!
I want to see Keemstar make that shit happen.
Right, dude. Oh my god, man! Like, I'm laughing over here because, like, I have spent the last year doing like a crap ton of live content on YouTube. So it's like, at this point, this is an easy stream. Like, this is easy. Like, this went oddly well, to be honest.
Yeah,
I was shocked the first one didn't go worse.
Everybody watching this, because I don't know how much Matt's going to cut out for the re-upload. Everybody watching this, I want you to sit back and think, like, holy shit, this would have tilted me out of control. This would have ruined my night. Right? Like, 6 years ago, this would have ruined my night. I'd be sitting obsessing, like, oh my God, everybody's going to think I look stupid. Oh my God. Oh, this is terrible. You know, I would have been obsessing over this thing and wondering what everybody's saying about me. And now, remember, it's about which things to give a fuck about. All right?
Dude, to me, that one... Okay, absolutely. I actually like this photo of you better because, like, you're in the background. Like,
that's
like,
me and Wyatt.
Yeah, dude, this is actually the composition on this photo. Who took this photo? Was this Tristan?
Tristan did.
Dude, Tristan, this is an awesome photo. Like, the composition of this photo is phenomenal. It is incredible, dude. Like as an amateur photographer, this is sexy. I really like this. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Dude.
Put that on a magazine cover somewhere.
Seriously, it's great. It's awesome. I love it. No, but dude, you're absolutely right. Like, to me, this is the beauty of recovery, right? We just learn that, guess what? Shit's gonna happen. Shit's going to break. Life is never going to go as you planned it. So guess what, Buttercup? Suck it up and roll on. Just deal with the punches, man.
I think what it does is, if you're constantly training yourself, like, look how quick we just adjusted.
Oh, yeah.
Like when you're just used to shit going wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly, when you're just like, hey, everything's going to get fucked up. Let's just do this. You know? Let's go, right? That's why I say we talk about the problem but focus on the solution. I sat with people where, like, things are fucked up and they're like, okay, well, let's have a 5-hour meeting about this. No, shit got fucked up. Let's adjust. Let's not dwell on it. Let's learn from this. You know, what I learned is that Coxes, when I have time, they're gonna get an earful and all of that, you know.
Dude, you and I offline definitely need to figure that one out, because I think there's a few options we can look at, and yeah, ISP modems can suck a dick, but yeah, we'll work through all that. This was a training video, how to deal with frustration. You're goddamn right, it is 100%.
This could be one of our highlight clips.
I think it should, man, because like this. Okay. Like, be real. Okay, so take any one of you out there. Here Chris is, and like, put yourself in somebody else's position. Here Chris is 100+ K subs, like growing YouTuber, starting to like really make a name, going to fucking battle with guys like Keemstar and whatnot. Dude, and all of a sudden, live, his stream just goes to shit. Oh, imagine the terror. Imagine the fear, the insecurity, just like, oh my God, what do I do?
Yeah, or back in the day, like with all this going on, I would have barely been holding it together. I'm doing shit like my camera's on.
Absolutely.
And it's not, but I would have been barely holding it together, and maybe this would have been that thing that just made me snap.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Maybe that would have been that last straw that broke the camel's back.
100%.
I'm doing things with my hands that you can't see, but imagine me making a motion like I'm placing a straw carefully on top of a camel. I want you guys to all picture that. Right now. Get that vision in your head.
Oh my God.
What? You know what? I think this topic actually transitions. By the way, you did amazing with the boogie thing. I listened to the whole thing. But
Dude,
this transitions perfectly into our final topic of Brittany Dawn. Okay?
Oh.
So those of you who don't know about Brittany Dawn, she is an influencer, a fitness guru, and she decided to bite off more than she could chew. Dude. And she got such an influx of clients that she didn't know what to do, so she just froze and kept taking their money. Don't you think Brittany Dawn could have learned from what we've learned as being loser drug addicts, where she could have adjusted?
Dude.
Right. How'd you like that transition?
Okay.
How'd you like that transition?
Okay, that transition was nicely done, sir. Was nicely done. If I had my stream deck up, I would be giving rounds of applause over that one. Like,
oh, he did get the white line. Okay,
sorry, Bonna. I took care of the white line. Okay, I was like, what is she talking about? White line, and then I'm like, oh, the white line. Okay. Okay, so here's an interesting one. And again, your video on Brittany Dawn was fantastic, because you went a direction that I wasn't even thinking about, dude. You went a direction with it that I typically don't go, but as soon as you did, I applied it to my own life, and I went, holy shit, how, like, I do that.
What do you do?
I fall into the greed. I fall into the like, this is mine type thing. And the shitty part, dude, is I find myself doing it in recovery in the worst of ways. Like, I'll have a dude come in to, say, one of my meetings, and he's just the shit bag type. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's just
I know what you're saying.
Right? Yeah. And like, instead of me reaching out to him.
Can I pause you real quick?
Yes.
Don't forget where you're leaving off. But you just talked about a guy in recovery being the shitbag type.
Yes.
So one of the things that people get twisted about me, they're like, Chris, you're promoting good health, mental health. You should never say anything like that, right? It's what we fucking do. The thing is that shitbag type does not get to me in ways that it would have. I'm sorry.
Right. No, you're fine. Well, and again, I got to roll it back. That's why you can call me a drug addict loser all you want. I know I am. That's who I was, right? And so anyway, we know the type walking into the room, making excuses, not taking accountability, like just this, it's rough. And I know what I should do. What I should do is I should reach out to him. I should try to make a connection. I should try to share the message. I should humble myself and approach him with kindness and understanding. But in my greed, in my self-centeredness, I choose fuck that guy.
I was literally just thinking, fuck that guy.
100%, dude. And right? It's so, as soon as when I start, and guys, this is why I love talking about utilizing, like, for anybody who says Chris is running fucking drama and then mental, like, fuck you in the face. You're not hearing. You're not hearing. Okay? Because, like, I took that and applied it to the way I approach my recovery and my 12th step, sharing this, bringing it to other people. And I went, I'm being greedy, and this is fucked up. I'm being self-centered in all the wrong ways, man. Dude, that video spoke to me, bro. It spoke to me, dude.
Good. And it's a call to action, right?
Oh,
when we feel that, like, that's the way I've taken it, because so many of us get a feeling and then we sit on it. No, our emotions are like an alarm system saying, fucking do something about it, right? If you feel guilty for what you're doing, then do something about it. And here's the thing about people like you and me saying, fuck that guy.
Yes.
Is that even though I can say that about, you know, people, like, I am more than happy to sit down and have a conversation with them. And that's what I think confuses people about me.
Right.
Right? Like, bringing it back to Keemstar. Don't like the guy, but I'd give him a chance.
Sure.
And like, if he was if I gave him enough chances where I had to set a boundary, then it would just go back to, no, fuck that guy. Like, he's not willing to change, and we're not going to be friends, and that's okay. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there is nobody. Like, if I can learn how to forgive my mom for being a fucking drunk for 20 years of my life, I can forgive Keemstar for being a dick on Twitter. You know what I mean?
Dude, you, oh my God. And if my mom ever watches this, I laugh my ass off every time you talk about your mom, because your mom is, well, she's actually licensed. My mom works substance abuse programs. She is an actual group counselor, right? Certified and all this. And we were talking about, like, we didn't have, like our childhood was not horrible by any stretch, but there were definitely some issues that took place. And I told her, I said, Mom, I said, guess what? I said, it doesn't matter what you did. I appreciate you apologizing, and I appreciate you empathizing. I appreciate just the discussion, but nothing you did would have had any effect on my life as a human being.
Yeah.
I was still gonna do whatever I was gonna do with my life. And dude, if I can have that kind of conversation with my mom, who I barely spoke to, dude,
let's talk about that word again. Let's talk about that magical word, accountability.
Oh, dude.
Accountability. Oh, God. And that's why it fucking triggers people, man.
Yes.
Because I can sit here and, like, you know, I've made videos about this that fucking, we know, you and me know when it's gonna rub people the wrong way. Because, like, when I'm telling people, like, quit blaming your mom, quit blaming your ex, you know, quit blaming your dad for how shitty your life is,
correct,
right? Like just stop, because it's not getting you anywhere, right? Like when my mom, and people don't get that when I'm doing that, when you and I are doing that in a tough love standpoint, is because we went through it. When my mom was having an intervention for me, right before I got clean this last time, I sat there saying, fuck you, you're the reason I'm like this.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Dude.
And now today, like, she'll still every now and then apologize to me for what happened. I'm like, and like you said, it's like, Mom, I would have turned out that way anyway.
Correct.
If anything, apologize for passing on the addiction gene, which still was outside of your control.
She's not even in control of that. Like there's no guilt there, dude.
Down to her too.
Right.
You know?
Shit, dude. I feel bad that it happened to you. Yeah. So, do you want me to apologize? Mom, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know what I'm like? It doesn't solve anything.
I made a video called How I Forgave My Alcoholic Mom. And so many people say, how do I deal with my asshole mom or my asshole dad? I'm like, go watch the video, How I Forgave My Alcoholic Mom. And, like, just the level of empathy that I had to express, through that. But anyways, let's transition back to Brittany Dawn and accountability. Something that I talked about in there was just consumer responsibility. I'm sorry, can I interrupt you really quick, because I think we are inside of a teaching, like a teachable moment. Okay. Lay it on me.
And the question was, how do you apologize? Like people are getting all upset. Well, it's my mom's fault. It's my dad's fault, blah, blah, blah. And for me, a lot of that boiled down to just, again, taking accountability and apologizing for what I did, but also absolving the other person of that guilt. Like, you don't need to harbor that for me. But inside, as I was thinking about the apology and like how that process works, I started thinking about step 9. And step 9 teaches us basically how to apologize the right way, basically.
People don't get that.
Right?
A whole series that I had, it's a playlist on my channel, is how to apologize the right way.
Yeah.
Right? And people don't get that.
Yeah.
People don't get that.
There's a right way, and then there is the fucking wrong way. And talk me through, if you were on ESPN right now, because I'm wearing my Philip DeFranco sports shirt. So you're on ESPN calling the foosball plays, watching Brittany Dawn in her apology video. How would you be rating her on her apology video?
Oh, like a 2? Like a fucking 2?
Dude, talk to me.
Like,
talk me through this.
Here's the golden rule about apologies. If somebody said this to me, how would I take it? And you know what? When I'll be honest with you. When someone's apologizing to me, I don't want to hear one fucking excuse.
Yes.
I don't want to hear how you're doing this all by yourself. I don't want to hear how you bit off more than you can chew.
Yep.
I want to hear you say, I was selfish. I was self-centered. I was only thinking about myself. I was not thinking about how it would affect other people. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to work my ass off to become a better person. And you tell me what I can do to make it better. Right. And guess where the fuck I learned that?
Where, Chris? Where did you learn how to do this?
In the rooms. So all my videos that I've made about how to apologize the right way is because people taught me. I remember asking my sponsor, because so many people in recovery, once they get clean, they want to go to apologize to the world. I did that.
Oh, yeah.
I was like 2 days sober, and I'm apologizing to my baby's mom.
Right.
I'm apologizing to my mom. I'm apologizing. And they don't want to fucking hear it. I'm like, but why not? Because it didn't matter. It didn't matter. They see me relapse 50 fucking times.
Right.
They see me do the same thing over and over and over again.
Dude.
That's why we don't make an excuse. That's why we don't tell anybody it's going to be different.
Yes.
We just apologize for it. And then what I always preach is actions speak louder than words.
Correct.
Right? And you know what Brittany Dawn's action was? Making an email to get refund requests in which the person had to sign a fucking NDA.
Yes.
So again, her actions spoke way louder than her words.
Yep. Dude, like it was the textbook example for me on how to apologize the exact wrong way. Like, if you could do it wrong and you wanted to see how to do it wrong, go watch that video.
Oh my God. Read an apology for the biggest fuck up of your life off of your phone. Jesus Christ. What?
Wow.
When I see stuff like that, I'm like, do you have nobody in your life who told you that was a bad idea?
Well,
like, who are you surrounding yourself with? Like, did you run this past a single person?
Dude, as small as my channel is, and I still love my channel because I get to hang out with some amazing people, I have people around me who I go, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? And 9 out of 10 times, the reason I surround myself with these people is most of the time they're like, Matt, that's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. You should not do that. And I go, thanks. I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that then. Chris, you talked about it today. You surround yourself with people who are going to keep you accountable, keep you honest, and be honest and transparent with you, who lift you up, who push you forward in life. And I'm watching that video of hers going, what kind of support system do you have, lady, that you thought this was a great idea?
This is going to be so amped up. I honestly want to make another Brittany Dawn video. Maybe you should do it.
I'm going to, because I'm like, what the shit?
And do the John Madden play-by-play, like circle things and say, you know, like draw a circle around the cell phone, pause and say, this is wrong right here.
Right.
You know? But yeah, and that's the thing, like something I talked about in my Brittany Dawn video is like, learn from everybody. I'm watching her and I'm like, oh, so this is not what you do.
Right.
You know?
Right. Holy shit, dude. Like she could have gone on any big YouTuber's channel who has made a mistake. Philly D apologizes greatly. I don't know if you watch Philly D, but
all the time.
Dude, when he apologizes, I love his apologies. He said, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have done this. I fucked up. I'm sorry. And it's not going to happen again. And guess what? That shit does not happen again.
And he moves forward. Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. So something I kept to myself, and it will only be available on podcast, is when Philly D screwed up the story about the Native American doing the thing.
Dude.
He fucked that up in a tweet.
Yep.
And he apologized for it on the weekend, and he apologized for it on Monday.
Yep.
And Keemstar made this whole thing talking about journalistic integrity, saying that Philip DeFranco needs to research better, and he tried to make it, and I'm just like, you scummy bitch.
Right?
I'm sorry to use those words, but I'm like, you.
Yes.
Like, this is, like, he didn't do it in a show.
Nope.
He screwed up. He didn't even need to apologize for that one. He could have tried to brush it under the rug.
Right.
But he addressed it like a fucking gangster.
Dude, like when I say a dude, I mean like a Mitch. Just the most badass of badasses. That's why like I call it like if you're my dude, like I like you. I respect you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this dude fucks up a tweet. And on his show, he apologizes for it. It would have been easy for him to just tweet out, hey, I got it wrong. He manned the fuck up and went, I fucked up.
But then you have Brittany Dawn who waited and waited and waited until sweeping under the rug, like she was on a fucking, I imagine like a dump yard, a junkyard, and there's like a little blanket over the top, and she's like, nobody's gonna notice this, right?
Yeah.
Like she swept it under until it just exploded, dude. Like you knew for a fact at some point she knew this was fucked up, right?
Right. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's just like people are afraid to admit to their fuck ups. You know what I mean? And here's the other thing about why Philly D is a boss at apologizing, because you know what he does? After he addresses it, he moves the fuck on.
Yes.
And if you don't want
corrects
to, that's your problem.
Correct.
You know? And
correct.
He corrects it, yeah.
Right. And because that's a two-part thing. It's you move on and you make sure it's corrected. Yeah. Right? And dude, just watching that apology video was the most cancerous, horrible, terrible thing I've ever watched. And I'm like, and here's why. Because that's how I used to apologize to people, right?
Oh, yeah.
I would sit in front of a person who I just screwed over, and I would be like, but you know, I did this because, you know, or I'm like this because. Like justifying and rationalizing. You would mention it earlier, like you blame your mom, you blame your dad, you blame your high school soccer coach.
Nobody fucking wants to hear that.
No, fuck you. Take responsibility.
Yeah, you stole I stole your money to go buy drugs, and I'm like, sorry I did that, but my mom was an alcoholic. They don't give a fuck.
Right. Oh, this is the kind of thing that triggers me, dude. And I'm like, how a person can be so, I don't know, unaware of themselves in life. And this is where I try to practice some kindness. And you had mentioned it earlier, and it's because you're a nice guy and I'm not sometimes. But it's like you were like, where are the people that she's put around her to help her with this, You know what I'm saying? Like, and to me, God, dude, I like, thankfully, because I've been in recovery, I don't operate in a vacuum. You know what I'm saying?
Can I tell you something even scarier?
Oh.
Can I tell you something that will give you fucking nightmares tonight, Matt?
Okay.
Imagine her having a support group where she bounced this off of them and they told her it was a good idea because she surrounds herself with yes men.
No. No.
Waking up in a cold sweat tonight.
You're a dickhead. You're a dickhead. I don't like you anymore. I don't want to do this show anymore, Chris.
Because that's what I wonder. That's what I wonder. I'm like, maybe she does have a support group. Maybe she's surrounding herself with enablers who make her think that she shits gold. You know what I mean?
Dude, okay. And like, again, like that is the sign of an incredibly unaware person. Like a few of the most, like there's some very important people to me. Like I just did a video about it, like Vivid and Bana and Dose. Like these are some very important people in my life, man. And like, dude, the reason I love them is because they don't agree with me. I don't live in an echo chamber, and I refuse to. And that is how my life used to be, because my echo chamber, the people I surrounded myself with were drunks and addicts and my suppliers, and like those are the people I hung out with. So absolutely they're going to enable me. Today, I want the dude who's going to call me out. I want the dude who's going to be like, screw you, dude. That's wrong.
I will never forget getting sober and looking back and thinking about how my kid's mom made it like she took my son away from me because I was getting high around him and passing out and all that. Like, it was a dangerous situation.
Right.
And I would go to the bar with my friends, snort lines in the bathroom, and talk about what a bitch she was. And they're like, yeah, man.
Totally.
Total bitch. And I look back at them, I'm like, who the fuck was I keeping in my life?
Yes.
Like, why was nobody saying, hey, Chris, how about you stop doing drugs and see your fucking son? I didn't have one person in my friend group.
Dude, and see, this to me, again, boys and girls, because we got to get to Q&A here in a few minutes. We got to get to Q&A here in a few minutes. But this is the power of recovery, okay? Because today there are people, like, right now there are people I'm engaging with, Chris and Bana and Dose and Vivid, who this is an extension of my support group. They keep me accountable. They hold me to task. They do not let me get away with shit. And if I didn't have that in my life, I would be a much different person. And this started in the rooms of AA. I never understood until I had gone through enough of it to why they said, 90 and 90. And it's because you're constantly surrounding yourself with people who got your back, who really support you.
And you're surrounding yourself by people who have self-awareness and don't mind talking about their failures and their successes and, all these other things. You're constantly surrounded by that. And I don't want to play, I don't even know how to word this properly.
Right.
But for example, there's a lot of people who leave comments and they say, Chris, there's a lot of people who don't like what you have to say because you're telling them the truth. And like, I don't want to be like, yep, that's right. But I know it is because I know. Like, people have, you know what? Fuck it. This is the Unsolicited Advice Podcast. There's people who have talked to me or, commented or DM'd me and said, I have watched Trisha Paytas for years, and I have never, ever seen somebody get under her skin like this. And I've seen people say far worse, And like, and I get it and I empathize with that, but I've chosen to like back up a bit and stuff like that. But like, I get it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot easier. Like, it's like, okay, it's a lot easier for Keemstar to call me fat than it is for Keemstar to say, like, Chris, you're working out, but you still have unhealthy eating habits, and you really need to address that. That would piss me off a lot more.
Correct.
Because he's actually saying some shit.
Right, because that actually means
I mean?
something. It resonates with you because it's probably something you're still struggling with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, but let's get into Q&A. We had some technical difficulties. So how long should Q&A be? 10, 20 minutes?
10 minutes. 10 minutes, let's say, right around there. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat right now. By the way, all of you listening, this is another reason to join us live on this. But as they're doing that, but yeah, this is the accountability thing. Like, this is why people like you and I think, stay accountable, because I'm surrounded by myself with people who keep themselves accountable.
Correct.
Correct. Like an example, like I know I'm going to lose subscribers here and there because like there's going to come a point where people aren't going to like me telling them what they might not want to hear, But the way I see that is like, then you're in the wrong place and I didn't want you here anyways. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, not that I don't want you here, but maybe you're not at that place. Like, for example, one of the reasons I had so many fucking relapses was I was not yet in a place to hear what I needed to hear. I was not in a place to be accountable. Correct. And thank God I got that gift of desperation before I died,
Right. So, and you hit on something there, dude. And I'll be honest, I actually cut a part out of my Boogie video because I was like, that didn't sound right when I said it. And I was like, but here on the Unsolicited Podcast, I feel like I can be a little bit more open with it. So,
I feel comfortable around you, man. I feel open.
I do too. I feel like I'm a rose blossoming for you right now. All right. So there's typically a type of person who I respond better to in the rooms of AA. And it's typically the person that I have to beat down hard, right? I struggle giving kindness to people.
Yeah.
And I think I'm actually going through this exercise with both my step counselor or my step sponsor, as well as my counselor, on learning how to love yourself. And like, he was like, this is what we're going to work on this year. And I was like, fuck you. I don't need to work on that. And he goes, oh yeah, bro. He goes, oh yeah, you definitely need to. And I'm like, I'm not kind to myself. That's why I automatically go for the thing.
Yeah. Oh, don't make me start thinking about this and having to work on it too.
Yeah, dude. And it's like, because my counselor is like, he's a tough love kind of guy, but he's the exact opposite. He's very kind and he's very understanding. And it's like, shit, dude, is this like my next phase of development is really taking a step back? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, dude?
I don't know. You got me fucked up now, Matt. No, like, that makes me think that I talk to people the way I talk to myself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Right?
And that's the thing. Like I'll be sitting here and I'm like, I don't want to do anything today. And then in my head, I'm like, bitch, get up. You got shit to do.
Yes.
So when somebody else is sitting down, like, oh, I don't want to do anything today. I'm like, bitch, get up. You got things to do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And maybe that's not the kindest thing, but here's the thing. And I'm always questioning, am I just justifying behavior and stuff like that?
Right.
Some people need to be talked to like that. But I think like something I like, if I had the opportunity to get to know somebody well enough, is that I know how to talk to them. This person needs a little bit more compassion. This people needs a stronger kick in their ass. But yes, being kinder to myself. But the struggle I have, and I don't know if you have this, is if I'm kinder to myself, I feel that I will let myself off the hook, and then it'll be a downward spiral into making excuses over bullshit.
Right. Okay. And that, dude, you nailed it. That is the common misconception, right? Because I think you are there enough to know that just because you're kind to yourself doesn't mean you're going to make an excuse for yourself. But it's an easier pathway to an excuse than being hard on yourself.
Yes.
Right?
Like, I work my ass off. I do feel that I have a pretty decent work-life balance, even though from outsiders looking in, they don't think so, but I think it's pretty decent. But like, if I say to myself, nah, Chris, take the day. Just take the day for yourself.
Right.
I'm the type of guy, when you give me an inch, I will take 1,000 miles.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, I know that about myself, and I know that that's a fault. So I don't know. I'd rather avoid that monster by just being hard on myself. Like,
right.
Because I know, like, people don't get, like, I work my ass off. Yeah, but for a year, I made excuses not get a job.
Right.
Like, that's the type of guy I am. And I feel like over the last 5 years, I've developed a momentum where I'm working so I don't slip back into that. So I don't know, man. You let me know how your journey goes.
Yeah, it's gonna be
it's
gonna be a long fucking year, bro. And I'm like, I don't like any of this, but okay, we're gonna play with this idea because that's what we do in therapy, boys and girls. Yeah. We play with ideas and concepts and just see how it works, see how it sets.
You know what's scary? Because you're like the toughest motherfucker I know.
Right.
All of this is fear-based, and that's something the program taught me.
Yes.
Fear-based.
It's fucked up. It's messing with my head. I don't like it.
All right, let's take a look at these questions.
All right, let's see. How do you handle, this is from Heather JBs, how do you handle the VA and PTSD when your anxiety says you don't deserve these benefits?
That's on you.
Yeah, dude. You need to recognize that if you're a veteran, you do fucking deserve those benefits, and you need to take advantage of those fucking benefits. As a vet myself, get off your ass and get to the VA now.
Like, here's what I'll say, and even though I'm not a vet, I can relate, though, and that's something that I'm always trying to do with my videos is this just relating. So I'm not a vet, but I remember the first time I was unemployed and everybody telling me to get unemployment. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. For me, it was a lot of pride and ego involved, right? And then somebody finally told me, and they said, fuck you, Chris. You've been paying into taxes for years now, and that's exactly why you've been doing it. I'm like,
bam!
Oh, shit.
Yes.
Right? So to your comment, I pay taxes so you can take advantage of those benefits.
Thank you.
You're doing a disservice to me by not taking advantage of those benefits.
Thank you.
So quit being so damn selfish.
Heather,
you'll help yourself.
Stop upsetting Chris and not using the money he's giving you.
Yeah, you can't see the pissed off look on my face because you're looking at Wyatt and me laying on a couch. Right, but I'm pissed. Go get this help. All right. That's the way I guilt people. Are you finding a pissed off picture?
Do you have a pissed off picture?
No.
That's the closest I'm going to get. What the shit? That's shocking.
Hey, look, these are the gifts of sobriety.
Right?
All you can find is pissed off pictures of me.
Right, exactly. Holy crap. Well, hold on. What about the cat looks pissed? All right, the cat looks pissed. We're going to go with that one. I don't know whose cat that is.
That was the cat that was guarding the smoke shop when I was in California.
Oh, are you serious?
It was fucking beautiful.
That's a pissed off cat. Yeah. And the pissed off cat is looking at you, Heather.
By the way, so I had somebody disagreeing with the fact that I manipulated Keemstar a little bit, exploited his weakness, right? Like, just so you know, Heather, I'm doing the same thing to you right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to invoke a feeling of guilt so you go help yourself.
That's all. That's all.
Hey, Matt, ask me how many hours of sleep I'm going to lose tonight over doing that to Heather.
Hey, Chris, how many hours of sleep are you going to lose?
Not a damn one. All right, next question.
Next question. All right, here we go. Let's see. I didn't lose the drama. Okay, this one is from Entertainment. MD Who Entertainment.
Oh, that's one of my patrons, and I still
nice.
Your message.
Nice. Right. Okay. All right. If you're trying to break yourself of toxic people, how do you break up with them without without them blowing up in your face. Okay.
Oh shit! Lay it on him, Matt.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. If you are trying, I just want to make sure I know this one because I just
without them getting pissed off at you. How do you do it without them getting? How do you set up a boundary with somebody without them getting pissed off at you?
Well, okay. Listen, I have my way of doing this. Everybody has their own way. One, you can't control if they get pissed off at you or not.
See, like, this is what I love about Matt. I told him to answer because I knew what he was gonna. I'm like, here's a test to see if we're like buddies.
Yeah, right? we're like our ESPN is on basically. Listen,
all right, you can change the picture of the cat whenever you get a chance.
Okay, sorry, I'm very sorry. I'm sorry.
Not in cat mood.
Okay, you're not in cat mood. Which one do you want? Oh, this is your friend. This is your friend. What's her name? Illy. Yeah, we got Illy there. We got dude, your swoop video. So fucking good.
Look, there's Swoop right there.
I know. Can we just leave this one? I love Swoop. I think Swoop's awesome. I'm going to leave Swoop there for a minute. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what I would say. There's nothing you can do that's going to prevent it from them from blowing up in your face. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing.
This is what Tristan would call that's a them problem.
Thank you. Yeah. Dude.
Like, again, this goes back to this false idea of control. We think we can control how other people are going to feel. Yes. Now, I'll say two things. The best thing you can do is work on minimizing the chance of them getting pissed off and blowing up in your face. Here's what I mean. Don't say, fuck you and never talk to me again. That makes the chance larger that they will blow up on you.
Right. That's not good.
So minimize it. How can you say it in a kind, compassionate way? For example, what I had to say to my best friend when he was still actively using and I got clean, say, hey man, I love you, but I cannot hang out with you until you're ready to help yourself.
Right.
So I said, I love you. So I know that.
Yes.
Right. But the second thing I'll say is here's a trick that my mom taught me. All right. Make it about you. Make it 1000% about you. Like say, I like, this is about me. And it sounds like that shitty cliche breakup thing, whatever. Like, this isn't you, it's me. But for real, say, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not being a good friend. I don't have the time. I don't have the capacity. Whatever the fuck you got to do, make it about you. You know what I mean? Like, that's just a trick my mom taught me, and it has worked amazingly.
I have a statement, and I say I address a lot of things from me and I statements. And if you can keep a conversation like that focused in me and I statements, it typically, like, again, it'll make it easier. It's not going to make it perfect, but it'll ease a lot of the things.
Yeah, because like just play out the conversation in your head. Don't obsess about it.
Right.
But like if you go up to somebody and say, hey, I can't hang out with you anymore. You're really toxic. You keep doing this. You keep doing that. Like the person is naturally going to get more and more and more defensive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, that's why in therapy, especially in couples therapy, they say, make me and I statements. Like we talk about me, right? This is the way I am. You know, that's why, although people think my videos are attacking other people, I keep a lot of the videos focused on me. And some people actually don't like it. They leave comments and say, hey, I came here for a Trisha Paytas video, but all you did was talk about yourself the whole time. I'm like, exactly, because I'm not a drama channel, you schmuck.
You came for the wrong reasons, but can I help you with something? I can help, you know?
One or two more.
Let's see. We've got Brandy Carlson. I'm just kind of going in order. How do you deal with being in therapy for a year, having the tools to handle things, and your partner not having those tools and still using unhealthy communication? I'm gonna let you take the lead on this and the next one.
It all goes back. It all goes back to you have no control over the other person. And I would say, and this is just me talking from just a hypothetical, right? Some people go into therapy for the wrong reasons. Some people get sober for the wrong reasons. Some people get sober. I've heard so many people in the rooms as well as in treatment saying, I'm here and I hope it makes my mom decide to get sober. Right?
Yes.
Like, you're here for the wrong fucking reason.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So I'm not saying that about you, Brandy, but if it is, you better look at that.
Yes.
But again, what Matt and I have been talking about during this podcast is is like, for me, what therapy is for me is learning how to be okay with the other person not changing, right? Like, how do I do that? But you always have three options: accept it, change it, or eliminate it. Correct. You know what I mean? Correct. So you either accept your partner the way they are, right? Because you can't change them. Right. So now you're down to two options. You either accept it or you eliminate it.
Correct.
If you are in love and you cannot picture a life without them, you better work your ass off. It might take 5 more years of therapy to figure out how to accept them exactly the way they are. Because if you ever fall to the delusion that you are going to change somebody, you are running a fool's errand.
Yeah, man.
I have played that game way too long, so learn from my mistakes.
Correct. I'm going to share some anecdotal evidence or stories in regards to this. When I first got into recovery, I used an excuse that, well, because my partner drinks, then she's probably gonna damage my sobriety, or she's not gonna be a good influence, or any number of. It was all bullshit excuses. I didn't want to get sober. And the reality came down to it that, I could have considered that a problem inside of my relationship. Well, at the end of the day, I had to take accountability for me. And shit, we've been together for 14 years now, almost. Yeah. And now 6 of which has been me in sobriety. She hasn't changed a fucking thing other than she has to worry about my dumb ass less. She still drinks. She still like, I'm the first one to order her a glass of wine.
You're with a normie too.
Absolutely. Like, fuck, dude.
Exactly.
Like, and I don't like it. Doesn't fuck with me. But go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. I always told people in treatment. I'm like, if you're sitting here, if you think the whole world's gonna change just because you got better, but that's something my sponsor told me, because I used to obsess over it, and he said, "Listen, Chris, just because you're trying to change doesn't mean everybody else has to."
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Like, I'm the one with a fuck. Like, I see so many people like, "Oh, well, I'm working on this. I'm working on that. You should too." No, they fucking don't.
No.
Like, maybe they're perfectly fine. Some people are perfectly fine living in the chaos. I have some people, when I talk to them about the 4-step, they're like, "I don't have any resentments." I'm like, congratulations. But for me, 133 people, places, situations ended up on that fucking list. Absolutely. So I really got to work on it.
Correct.
Like, not everybody has to do the same thing I am. So that's how I'll end that suggestion. One more. All
right. So I need to find a good one. Here. So we got
not to say that the other ones are bad.
No. I worded that horribly wrong. I'm very sorry. All right, hold on. Let's see.
Some are better than others.
Right. Exactly. Right. Ooh. Oh shit. Oh man. This one's okay. Okay. Last time you guys discussed that people usually know that they are doing wrong and refuse to address their problems, or at least that's the gist I got. How do you address that? Well, that's kind of a broad question. Maybe that's too broad to answer.
Like, how do you call somebody out on their shit?
Yeah, like, is this for you, Hannah, or is this for somebody else? Like, you're going to have to give more context, I guess. I guess we'll
assume a context and run with that. How about that?
Okay, so I'm gonna assume you're talking about yourself, right? Like, you are not at a point where you're willing to address your problems.
Ooh, okay.
That's how I'm gonna assume this, because I think this is actually a very common problem. And I think if you talk to most recovering addicts, especially, like, in the back of our brains, we all knew what we were doing was wrong. Okay? But we chose to continue doing it. So how do you address that to come to a place where you're willing to address it? One of two things must happen, or both. One, the universe is going to hit you upside the side of the head with a 2x4.
Yep.
And force you to rectify these problems, to take action. Or you are going to receive what Chris referred to earlier, and a saying that I love, the gift of desperation, that your life has become so miserable, so terrible, that you have found the bottom of your emptiness, and you will have no other place to go other than the grave or up. One of the two.
Yeah, and hopefully it's up. And there's a quote from Narcotics Anonymous, basic text that I use all the time, and I misquote it, but you get the gist. It says something along the lines of, when the pain of staying the same becomes too great, we find the willingness to change.
Yes.
Right?
Willingness.
And that's what you're saying. Like when it becomes too much.
Correct.
But on that same context, here's what I will say. Celebrate your fucking successes.
Yes.
Right? The fact that you're sitting here, like, people don't understand. We have 22 people in here. Some of you have been here the whole time. Some of you just came in. The fact that you are even here means you give at least one fuck about your mental health, right?
Right.
Like, that's, like, I have met so many people. Like, how many people have you seen, like, just come into the program or whatever and just gave no fucks?
None.
Right?
Not at all.
Like, none, right?
Yep.
So, like, I want people to understand, like totally understand, like, you have done something. And maybe, like, just by sitting, like, that's why people say, like, my mom said, like, just go in there, go into that room and just sit down, shut the fuck up and listen. And something happened. Like the day in the meeting I went to, we were talking about this like terminal uniqueness, right? That's like what part of it was, I can't remember if it was the daily reflections or something else they read. But anyways, like that's how I was. But eventually, I don't know what happened. I just kept going, kept sitting, kept staring, kept rolling my eyes. And then finally, boom, something clicked.
Correct.
You know?
Correct.
So just everybody in here, like, understand, if you're not ready, if you're not willing, like Matt said, either you're going to get, the universe is going to push you that way, or you're just going to keep like watching a video and maybe something somebody says, maybe something I say, maybe something another creator says, maybe something Matt says, maybe something will just make it click, right?
Correct.
Like there were so many things that just clicked for me. Like, this is why my first book was called Hope, was because I say that is the one thing I never had, and it's the only reason I'm alive today.
Yes.
I never had hope my entire life, but like I kept hearing people just share a message of hope, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, dude.
But like, to piggyback off of Matt's thing, like, you know, the universe might push you in that way. Like, take control of your situation, right? Like, you can sit there and say, oh, I don't want to address this. I don't want to address this. I don't want to address this. And then the universe chooses for you. Or you can take control of the situation and say, fuck that.
Yes.
I'm going to start working on this now on my terms.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm all like that's the thing too. I look at, you know, accountability as empowerment.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Like I've heard every excuse you could imagine for a relapse. I've heard, here's my favorite one. Well, they had drugs. What was I supposed to do?
What was I supposed to do?
Say no, motherfucker. Why are you letting so many other people control your life?
Right, like, exactly.
So when you take accountability, like when I know, like, okay, so for example, in that book, Ego is the Enemy, that no, the obstacle is the way, that other book I read by, I've been meaning to send an email blast out about this, but there's a section where he says, this is happening, this is bad.
Correct.
Right? The first statement is objective. The second statement is subjective.
Correct. Correct.
So this is happening. Yes, that is a fact.
Yes.
This is bad. No, that is your opinion on the situation.
Right.
This might be the best fucking thing to ever happen to you in your life, but you're just not in the state of mind or in the place to see that. You know what I mean? So,
dude, again, anecdotal story that ties into that. When I got my last DUI, took out 3 or 4 trees and a water main, and got very lucky that I didn't kill anybody in that wreck. It was the worst thing that ever happened to me. It was what I would have called a bad thing. Right? Today, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. It's all subjective, my friends. All
exactly. Oh yeah, going and getting forced into that sober living house was the worst thing to ever happen to me. Yep. Until it was the best thing to ever happen to me.
Correct.
You know, so like I wish, and that's why you got to celebrate the shitty things. That's why I want the tattoo that says Amor Fati, right?
I love
like, just
that.
love whatever's fucking happening to you, because man, and it's so cliche to be like, do you have any regrets? No, because everything that happened to me made me who I am. But it's so fucking true.
Right.
It's so true.
Yep.
Like, if you're wondering why I got this fucking smile on, if you're wondering why Matt can't find a fucking picture of me looking pissed off, it's because everything that happened to me has made life a fucking breeze now.
Yes.
You know? But yeah, anyways,
Dude.
let's wrap this up.
We're done.
Tristan ordered pizza. She's been eating it. I've been smelling it.
I want food. I'm hungry. All right. Guys, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to the podcast, we're live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. What?
Wait.
What?
We were going to start a new thing. Remember last week we were going to start a thing? We're going to send everybody off with homework.
I forgot.
So how about this week for homework? Okay. I want all of you to find something shitty that happens to you this week and try to see if there's a learning experience where maybe it grew you into a stronger, better person. How do you like that homework, Matt?
Dude, that is some good homework.
Yeah.
Are they going to use the Discord to share their homework? Is that what they're going to do?
I think they fucking should.
Dude, I want to see your homework responses in Discord.
Eventually, when we start making money, we should turn that into like a giveaway type.
Dude, I was just having the same thought. I'm like, dude, we can like, oh, this was really good. And it turns into like anybody who actually does their homework gets entered into a giveaway. Dude, this is a good idea. Okay.
Follow us on Twitter, because maybe we can make an email where people email us stuff.
Correct.
We could share it somewhere.
Dude. You and I are going to talk about this one. I like this idea.
Sometimes I ask Tristan how it feels to just date a fucking genius.
Okay, you need to go read that book again. What was the name of that book?
Ego is the enemy.
All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kids of all ages, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. I enjoy being a part of your existence tonight.
Yes, we love you. We love all of you.
All right, you guys be well. Chris, as always, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you, Matt. I love you.
That was fun. All right, guys, be well.